How to form an anonymous LLC. Form it in an anonymous LLC state. So certain states, and I'm giving you guys the game, such as Delaware, Nevada, New Mexico, and Wyoming, allow anonymous LLCs. These are the states that I want you guys focusing on. They allow anonymous LLCs, meaning they do not require the names of LLC owners, members, or managers to be disclosed in public records. This is how you stay out. This is how you avoid just being too public with it. Just being a little too out there with it. This is not the game to be out there. This is, somebody asked me the other day to like, show me every property you own. And I was like, bro, calm down. Like, you need to relax. Like, oh, send me a list of your LLCs. No, like, no, I'm not doing that. Do you understand how hard people work to not do that? No. If you do this at a high level, you may not technically own anything. You may still have control over your assets. And this is a real thing, control without ownership. A trust could own everything and you could control all of it and be a beneficiary of it. There are multiple ways to set up control without ownership. So the best guys, the top guys in the country, for those of you who think like that, I want to be the best, they're set up, it looks like they own nothing. They might get a stimulus check. It looks like they own nothing. That is the highest level. You don't want to be walking around telling people what you own on a specific level or looking like you own all the stuff. In these states, only the name of the registered agent is public, keeping ownership details private. That's crucial for your success. Next, we want to use a registered agent service. This will happen if you use websites that create your LLCs, like InkFile. I think they changed their name to Busy or something like that. Use a registered agent service. So registered agent services can receive official documents on your behalf, on behalf of the LLC, which can help keep your address and contact information private. It's another mistake I've seen. They said, yeah, Mark said, this is a masterclass in business structuring. Absolutely. This is a masterclass. Somebody will charge you $5,000 for this session. It's great. Like, I'm just keeping it real with you guys. They'll charge you $5,000 for this without the Q&A. Some registered agents allow you to use their address on public filings, so your own address is not disclosed. A lot of people make this mistake. They create their LLC. They start putting their address on there. They're just trying to get through it fast. They haven't done it before. And now your address is out there. You think it's that difficult for a creditor to see your address, tell their attorney, tell their private investigator, yo, do a search, a global search on this address. Any accounts, bank accounts open with this address, anything that has anything to do with this address. I want to see it for the last 20 years. It's easy to pull. So even the address, even if you're not putting your name, some people are like, well, my name's not on it. Your address is on it, bro. They saw 123 Green Street 30 times. They can pull up the last 10 mortgages, how many properties you own, when you refinanced. I mean, they can get in the weeds on you. They can really find you and they can find your assets. So you have to have that separation. These services are, $100, $200 a year. Don't look at it as an expense. Look at it as a write-off, because the expense is the worst case scenario, not the $200. It's the $250,000 lawsuit. Use a nominee. A lot of people never heard of this, and I'm one of those people. Use a nominee, manager, or officer. A nominee or third-party representative, and you can use people like this in Wyoming and in these states, these privacy-friendly states, can be listed as the manager or officer of the LLC on the LLC formation documents, maintaining your anonymous status. This person is essentially a representative on paper while you retain control and practice. So this is somebody that you can list, and they're the nominee. They're essentially the company rep. Send all the information to them. They're taking care of it. You can hire a third-party company. You'll probably have a couple of attorneys on staff, and they'll just receive documents. They'll handle things, but they'll sit on those documents so that you don't have to. So this is how you can completely distance yourself, even beyond putting it in a trust or doing some of these things. You could just get a nominee, pay them $500 a year, and they'll sit on all the public documents. Now you're not even on the paperwork at all. There's no way for anybody to know. Next level of this protection is create a layered entity structure. You have to layer your entities. A lot of people don't know this. They think, oh, I just created that LLC, I'm good. Or you might just go out and create this LLC, put 5 properties in it, then create this one, put 5 properties and create this one. but now you don't have a layered structure. You can create an additional layer of anonymity by setting up a second LLC in a privacy-friendly state like Delaware or Wyoming. These are the two that, for my boots on the ground people, you know I'm always talking about Delaware and Wyoming and why. And making it the member owner of your main LLC. This structure can make it even harder to trace the LLC back to you personally. So I may own this LLC through a trust. So there's a third layer, but I have a trust that owns this LLC. Then this LLC owns these 3 sub LLCs. All of the profits just flow straight up. It's a pyramid structure. Profits from these 3 companies or losses can pass through you personally if you're sitting behind the structure. So let's say I open in Wyoming, I name a nominee so they can't see me. Then that Wyoming LLC owns these other 3 Delaware LLCs. So they can't even barely figure out who owns the Delaware LLC, but then they figure out who owns it. It's this LLC. So they're like, all right, we're not dealing with a rookie here. Now we're dealing with a grown ass man. Like this guy took the time to really layer. So they understand that. Then they try to see who owns this LLC. And now we're at another level. There's a nominee and some address they never heard of. And they're like, I guess that's not him. I don't. And then it might still be in a trust. This is a good one. Use privacy-friendly bank accounts. Some banks allow LLCs to open accounts without requiring owner details to be publicly available. It's best to check with individual banks as requirements can vary. I personally know there are online websites where you could open a business bank account with all the business information and a nominee. And you could open 5 bank accounts in a day, not having your name out there. So there are definitely banks like this. If anybody needs a bank, just reach out. Limit the use of personal information in LLC documents. Avoid using your personal address and information in any public records associated with the LLC, such as on business licenses, government contracts. Use a business address or a virtual office instead. The virtual office, you guys know we have ipostal.com. You can get a virtual address, a virtual office. So these are physical buildings that are located all across the country. They have a physical site, and there's somebody who sits at the front desk, and they receive mail all day, just bins and bins of mail. And then it goes back to a sorting team, and they sort the mail, scan it, upload it, and then you get online access to your mail. But that can give you a physical address in Wyoming, in Arizona, in Pennsylvania, wherever you want to invest, because where you invest, you want to foreign register your LLCs, domesticate them.